Go on, Ed.
Hello guys, welcome to sportsbookreview.com. Oh. Hey guys, welcome to sportsbookreview.com. We are previewing some of the cup matches taking place. We've got Copa del Rey, we've got DFB Pokal, and we've got the FA Cup. And joining us today is Martin and Nigel Seeley. Boys, how's it going?
All well, all good, thanks. Good. Looking forward to some good cup action in the week ahead.
Me too, me too. Listen, I see a couple of questions about West Ham today. It was an official pass for me. I know most people are on West Ham. West Ham. Nigel, what are you on? Are you on anything today, West Ham Stoke?
I think it's a very tricky game. I think West Ham are very, very short price, 1.91. Everyone's got on the bandwagon that they're going to win and they're going to be a short price. I still don't think all is well at West Ham. I think Stoke are absolutely dreadful, so I wouldn't back them. I don't think there'll be many goals tonight. That's the one thing I would probably think. I know Stoke have had a very defensively poor season, but I think this might be a tight one. If I was going to have an interest play, I'd probably back under 2.5 goals, but I wouldn't be backing West Ham at odds on with anyone's money.
Yeah, no, I know. Martin, you're on West Ham though. That's your bet, isn't it, for today?
It wasn't really one of my selections, but yeah, if I was going to go for a bet on this one, I probably would go for the home win. I know the atmosphere did get a bit toxic at the West Ham Olympic Stadium a couple of weeks ago, but they seem to have turned things around now. 4 points from their last 2 games. I think just more a reflection of how bad Stoke have been, really.
All right. Well, we do have Anne S. Hi, Anne S. We are not talking the midweek league matches. We're not like La Liga, for example. What we're going to talk about is, like I said in the beginning there, the DFB Pokal semis, FA Cup matches, and so on. If you do want to check out, if you go onto our sister site, Odds Market, the team have done some videos. They do like solo videos where they give their best bets. Also, head on over to oddsmarket.com. And you'll find some rundowns there as well. So I think we've got 5 matches to preview. Going to start DFB Pokal now. Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. These will be clipped and put over to a bookmaker's review. Bayern Munich 1.67, draw 4.15. Bayer Leverkusen 5.4. Now, Martin, I was reading your article. You think there's value there. You sent an article for a bookmaker's review looking at like the big games of the week. Bayern Munich, not a bad price there, 1.67. Obviously, they've sewn up the Bundesliga. They're out of the Champions League. We're in the Champions League. Sorry, they need. They'll be looking to add to their silverware here. 1.67. Is that a good enough price? Do you think? Should we jump on that wagon?
I'll certainly be taking it. Yeah, I mean, they've gone out to 1.7 actually. They're drifting with a few bookmakers, which is interesting to see. You can get 1.7 at BetStars. I just think they're in phenomenal form right now. They've been absolutely steamrolling teams. They had no real reason to win big at the weekend. They could have taken it easy because they've already wrapped up the Bundesliga, but they absolutely destroyed Borussia Mönchengladbach. Yeah, I think he's going for another treble. The last time he won a treble, then he retired, the manager, and I think he could do it again this season. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Champions League, and there's no reason for them not to go for this game. They're by far the better team on paper. I think the odds just for a straight win look good to me.
Yeah, Leverkusen have been having a really good season. They're in 3rd behind Schalke. They finished 12th last season. They're not going to take this lying down by Leverkusen. Do you think they can prove some trouble? Will they certainly add to the scoreboard, Nigel?
I think that's the angle. I think goals are definitely the way to go in this game. 26 goals in the last 6 Bundesliga games for Bayern Munich. 4 goals in each of the 2 games they played when the 2 sides were erect this season. So definitely both teams to score. However good Bayern Munich are going forward, they always likely to concede as well, and that's been the nature of many of these better teams in European football. Manchester City, Arsenal recently have been conceding goals, and Bayern Munich as well, and obviously Barcelona as well. So I think they definitely will concede goals. I think this is over both teams to score here. Looks a decent bet for me, but it's short. I mean, the bookies aren't giving much away at 1.62. Over 2.5 goals at 1.57. I think you can probably bet both of them, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. I'd probably go for over 3.5 goals because it has been a winner in both games, and it probably is the value play out of the ones. At 1.57 over 2.5 goals, I wouldn't like to play. But I do think Bayern Munich will be too strong. They've got so much attacking flair, but they do give their opponents a chance and a squeak of a goal. And I can see Bayern Munich probably win this by about 3-1 or 4-1. So both teams to score for me would be my best bet at 1.62.
Yeah, yeah. Over 1.5 goals, I found there 1.6. I found Bayern win and the over 1.5 goals at 1.85. That's my bet. Martin, what are you taking?
Straight Bayern Munich win for me, 1.7.
All right, fantastic. I'm just reading as well, and S as well, combining Bayern Munich and over 2.5 goals. I think a lot of us are on the same page here. Schalke versus Eintracht Frankfurt now. Schalke 1.95. Again, I've been impressed with them on their for them this season on their turf 1.95. Personally, and they've been keeping clean sheets as well. I think six clean sheets in their last 7. I wouldn't bank on Eintracht Frankfurt scoring. Schalke win for me. Nigel, what do you like?
I think you've read my notes, Nat. I think Schalke are a very underrated side. I think they're a big price to win the game at 1.991 or whatever it is. I think they should be shorter than that. I think it was a decent price for the match itself. 7 wins in their last 8 games, as you say, in 6 of those wins, in their 7 wins, they've kept their clean sheet.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic form for them. You've got to fancy them to win. If you're going to go for the win to nil, you can get 3.0. I think that's a decent price. And at 1.91, I'm just going to go just for Schalke to win. But at 3.0, I wouldn't put anybody off Schalke to win to nil. Frankfurt not in the best of form, lost heavily in their last 2 games, and I think Schalke will be too strong for them here. And a win to nil, possibly at 3, is a decent wager.
Absolutely, yeah. I just, to play the overs unders in this, that they have met once this season. It was a 2-2 draw, but I think in this point in the season to back on, for example, over unders, it depends whether Eintracht Frankfurt will score. I don't think so. Nigel doesn't think so. Martin, would you back Eintracht Frankfurt to score, or do you think it's just a straight Schalke win here?
Yeah, again, it just has to be a straight Schalke win for me, Nat. I think very impressed with the way Schalke played at the weekend. It was a massive, massive game against Dortmund, huge rivalry there, and they were very composed. Saw out a 2-0 victory, returned to winning ways, and they've really consolidated second position in the table. They can make a good opponent for Bayern Munich in the final. I think, yeah, just a straight Schalke win, and I'd be happy to put it in a double with Bayern Munich for a bit more value. I wouldn't go for the win to nil, though. I think that might be pushing it a little bit too far. I think Eintracht Frankfurt could score, but I reckon that Schalke will put 2 past them at least.
Yeah. I tell you, our big Spike didn't get his name for no reason. God, I was just looking at the record, 174 units of profit. It's absolutely incredible. If no one believes us, God, just watch all our videos. And Martin has got 60 of those. Absolutely incredible. Fantastic season for you, Martin. Just reading Alex here. Need for tips. He likes the Martin Classic. I'm guessing that's on the Bayern Munich one. I can see that. But he's going Schalke, Eintracht Frankfurt, the Alex Classic. Both teams to score and the over 2.5 goals. Risky business. And I know your ACCA, Alex, had the Dortmund to score and they didn't. Anyway, what are we moving on to now? Copa del Rey finals. Sevilla versus Barcelona, Saturday 21st. Barcelona 1.4, draw 4.4, and Sevilla 6. I liked them in the beginning of the season, I have to say, Sevilla, but they've really been hit or miss, certainly the second part of the season. I'm finding it a little bit hard to find value, although this fixture has seen goals. 2-2 draw at Sevilla, 2-1 at Camp Nou, but I think it's pretty much wrapped up. Over 2.5 goals, 1.53. Do you see goals in this match, Nigel? Would you take it to the over 3.5?
Yeah, you've got to see goals, but the 1 point over 3.5 is very short as well. On that, I mean, it's usually around about 2.8. In this game, it's like 2.1. So the bookies aren't really giving anything away on the goal markets. I think Sevilla are always capable of getting a result in a one-off game. I really do. I mean, their record in Europa League has been so good over the years, and in one-off games they can score goals. I mean, that's what they've done, and their record in the Champions League this season hasn't been that bad. You know, they haven't done too bad at all. I was looking at Seville plus 1.5 goals here. I think Barcelona will win it, but like we say with Bayern Munich, they're always going to give you a chance conceding. I think Seville will score against Barcelona in this game. So I was going to go for the 1.5 goals. If you look at the matches between these two sides, whenever they've played at Seville, they have never really been beaten heavily. They've lost by the odd goal, but they've never really been beaten by 2 or 3 goals against Barcelona in the past. And I think Seville, their record in cup competitions is a very, very good one. They've got to be respected as well. So I think in a one-off game, I would give them a chance here. So I'm going to go a very, very small wager, very, very small, on Sevilla plus 1.5. I think Barcelona will win it, but I don't think they'll win it by 2 clear.
All right. Just looking at what Billy is saying, I'm not going to completely read out what he said, but basically, it says here it's a tad rude, but basically, Barcelona are going to take out all their frustration on Sevilla. Poor Sevilla, they are going to get their asses whooped. Basically, do you think they're going to basically? So, do you think Barcelona will turn around from this? Because possibly the biggest upset, I think, Barcelona even failing to score against Roma. Do you think they are going to take their frustration out on Sevilla, Nigel?
Well, I think the thing is with Barcelona is that they're always very, very short price, aren't they? There's no value back in Barcelona, and you don't know what reaction you're going to get. And I think that just because they're named Barcelona and the form that they're in going into this game, I want to be backing them at the short price. I don't think it's as easy as that because Seville always have a goal threat as well in them. So they're not. They'll probably win the game, but they're not. I don't think they're going to win by in an ease in a rout. I think this is a cup final at the end of the day. How many cup finals are won by routes? Not many. There's always people raise their game for the big occasion, and I don't think Seville should be written off completely here. I don't think they'll win it, but I certainly think +1.5. They're not going to get humiliated. No, I disagree.
All right. Yeah. Jorge Macarena says Sevilla is strong at home, especially against the big teams. Both teams to score 1.7. Trying to find the value there. I like the way you're sort of approaching it, Nigel. But Martin, have you got another way here?
Not really. I also think Barcelona will win this one, and I also think it will be quite tight. So I like the sound of Nigel's bet. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep an eye on this over the course of the week because right now the only bookmakers that I can find offering prices on it are Bet365 and William Hill. So I think hopefully later on in the week more books will come on and start offering odds on it, and then you'll start to see more of the intriguing special bets. I'd be looking for like Barcelona and the under 3.5 goals or Barcelona and under 4.5 goals just to get a bit more value because I mean you watched the way Sevilla played against Bayern Munich. They held them to a clean sheet in Munich. They held Man United at Old Trafford. They've done very well defensively over the last few weeks. I know they've been very poor in the league, but they've shown that in knockout competitions they can really rise to it. So I think Barcelona will edge out a narrow win, and if I can get a bet like that on, that's what I'll be looking to do.
Yeah, actually, I quite like actually the Martin classic on that one. Barcelona and the under 4.5 goals, depending on the odds there as we approach. All right, now we move into the two FA Cup matches. Gold, Manchester United versus Tottenham. Tottenham 2.2, Manchester United 3.45, and draw 3.5. Certainly reckon Manchester United, hey, losing to West Brom. Oh dear, I don't think we'll ever live at that one down, but I have to say this game being played at Wembley, does this give Tottenham an advantage, Martin?
I think it has to, really. Yeah, they beat Man United there 2-0 in January, so that could give them a bit of a psychological boost going into the game. Tottenham, very strong team. I know they lost to Man City, but Man City are a very difficult team for a side like Tottenham to play against. Before that, they won 4 in a row. They've been really steamrolling teams, beat Chelsea pretty comfortably. So I think they should approach this game full of confidence. It's a very difficult one to approach from a betting point of view because Jose Mourinho is a masterful tactician and he can pull it out of the bag, in a knockout competition all the time. We saw the way he got the better of Guardiola and they beat Man City 3-2 just recently. So you never know what could happen. So I'll probably keep my stakes reasonably sensible, but I still fancy Tottenham to win this one at odds of 2.33. That looks very attractive, simply because they'll be used to the surroundings. They'll be comfortable playing in Wembley. And I think on paper they've got a better starting 11 as well.
Yeah, I think so as well. Spurs even draw no bet, 1.68. Do you think Manchester United will try keep things tight, Nigel?
This is Mourinho. It's the only way he knows how to play to set himself up in football matches to keep things tight. He's got no ambitions to score. He's got no ambition to be expansive. He wants to be tight. He wants to bore everyone to submission. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's done for years. I was actually quite surprised to see Tottenham so short. I know they've got the Wembley factor. I know they played, but Manchester United, I had a blip at the weekend, but they are above them in the Premier League table. They are And for all intents and purposes, this is a neutral match. And I thought they were quite a big price, Man United, 3.2 to win the game. I was expecting this to be a hardly anything between the two of them. Tottenham did win the 2-0 fixture, but Mourinho and the FA Cup, they just go hand in hand. He knows what to do in the FA Cup. He's got a brilliant record in this competition, always takes it very, very seriously. And whenever Tottenham get to this kind of position where they're one that expects them to win a silverware or get to semi-final, they bottle it. And there's no question about it, they bottle it. And I thought they were very average against Manchester City the other day. I thought they were bang average. I thought Man City played well, but that was a very disappointing Tottenham performance. And I think it's been a long season for Tottenham. I mean, Harry Kane's played a lot of football. They've got a World Cup coming up. And I don't look too much into that game against West Brom. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the Man United are going to be playing the Champions League. The title race is over. There's nothing they could do. They played their cup final the week before against Manchester City in that second half. So it was a bit like after the Lord Mayor's show. I think this will be a very different game. I think this will be very, very cagey. Very cagey indeed. I can't see many goals at all. Typical Mourinho. Pochettino will be, Tottenham fans will be very nervous because this is the first time they're going to get to a FA Cup final for a long time. I think under 2.5 goals here is a bet. But I think this is a very difficult one to call, and I think that you would probably, I keep my stakes very, very, very small. And if I was going to have a bet, I'd have a very small bet on under 2.5 goals, or maybe even under 1.5 goals, because I think this could be a bore fest. I think it's going to be 0-0, 1-0 either way, and a very dull affair.
Yeah. Under 2.5 goals, 1.9. Both teams to score no 2.15, especially if you want to follow trend there on their last two season meetings. I do quite like Spurs as well. It will be a tough one. Next match is Chelsea versus Southampton. Obviously, they have just played where Saints had the home advantage. This one's being played in Wembley. Chelsea won 3-2. That was one of my best bets there. Both teams to score. Now Saints on the road. They're both on the road, but it's they've struggled. They're facing relegation. The question is how much does Saints want this at this point in the tournament, fighting relegation? Martin, what are you predicting from Southampton at this point?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because they could really do without this cup game. The priority has to be survival in the Premiership. But then I suppose at this time of season, you want wins regardless, just to generate momentum. So I think he'll still field a strong team, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Chelsea. You can see that their confidence is shot to pieces the way they surrendered that 2-goal lead at the weekend. I think they could probably get on the score sheet though, Southampton, because Chelsea are not the solid defensive unit that we saw last season. They scored twice against Arsenal the week before. I know there was some comical defending from the Gunners there, but I think they could trouble Chelsea again in this one. So I'd be looking at something like Chelsea to win and both teams to score. You can get odds of about 2.45 on that. Again, not a huge stake, but I think that looks good. They've got Giroud coming in. He's not the sort of striker that Chelsea need to win titles, but he gets goals. We've got Hazard and Willian buzzing around him. I think they should be good for goals in this game. And they should overpower Southampton in midfield, really, as well. So, I think it'd be an interesting game. Chelsea just about scrape through.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, over 2.5 goals. I'm looking at 1.89. Not sure if I want to actually bet on Southampton scoring, although I do see them finding their back in the net. They should do, really. Nigel, what's your tip for this match, Chelsea-Southampton?
Well, there's a couple of things. Firstly, I backed Southampton last week at 4.5 in that game, and I vowed never, ever to trust. I'm a good friend with Flash Gordon Watson, and I don't trust him, former Southampton player, and I'll never, ever, ever trust Southampton again with £1 of my money after that performance. They were absolutely abysmal, and they deserve to be playing in the Championship next season with defending like that. Chelsea were there for the taking last week. Chelsea were there for the taking, trust me. Chelsea had an awful first 60 minutes. They were terrible. They brought Giroud and changed the game. I think Chelsea will be absolutely buoyed by that last 25 minutes, and they'll know that they can beat this Southampton side in first gear. Chelsea weren't at the races at all last week, and they still put 3 past them. I think this will be very, very one-sided. I disagree with you guys actually here. I don't think Southampton will score. I think Southampton know that they're going to be playing in the Championship next season. It's a game too far for them. Even if they won this game, they're going to get beat wherever they play in the final anyway. I fancy Chelsea to win 2-0. I think this will be a very comfortable 1-2-0 job for Chelsea. And it's a big important cup competition now for Chelsea. They need to win it. They need to get some silverware. Conte's under huge pressure. You know, he may, even if he wins it, he might not save his job. But it's a huge, huge game for Chelsea. They need to win this in a huge competition, and I think they'll make no problems here. And I can see them winning, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0. And Southampton, like I say, they'll put a decent side, but will they? If they get any injuries to any key players for the running 6 games, you know, they want all their players wrapped up in cotton wool for the last 6 games of the Premier League rather than this FA Cup game. So I think it's a perfect time to play Southampton. I think Chelsea got 3 past them, cantering last week, and I think they'll get out the blocks easy, and I think they'll win to 0. 2.24, Chelsea win to 0 for me.
All right, Chelsea win to 0. What about, I don't have the odds to hand, but sort of like a Chelsea in the under 4.5 goals, which has become known as the Martin Classic. What about something like that?
Yeah, why not? You can get 1.7 on that. Or maybe Chelsea in over 1.5 goals at about 1.83, something like, or 1.78, I think, something like that. So
yeah,
the one thing is though, that we mean the FA Cup. The FA Cup obviously is a competition with great history, and it's a competition that everyone in England dreams about, playing the back garden, lifting the FA Cup and playing and scoring a winning goal at Wembley. But this, I'll tell you what, these 2 matches won't do anything for the PR of the competition. It's absolutely be dull as dishwater. I'll tell you, I'm glad I'm going to take the dog for a walk on Sunday afternoon and take the missus out for a nice Sunday roast, because I won't be watching that. Both of these games will be dull as anything.
All right. Listen, I'm going to ask you now, best bet, just across the cups here. Nigel, what's your favourite for you, or if you've got more than one? What are your favourites that you're looking at?
I think my banker would have to be both teams to score in the Bayer Leverkusen Bayern Munich game. I think there's goals in that game. I really do. I think that's my banker bet. And if I was pushed through, I'd probably do a little double both of these FA Cup games to produce under 2.5 goals to give me some interest. Because I'll tell you what, I don't really want. I'm going to need some interest in them to keep me excited about it. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals in both FA Cup games.
Ooh, okay, I think you'd be. I don't know. I like both teams to score bet, but I don't know. I think we'll definitely see goals, certainly in one of them. But all right, that's your bankers. Martin, what are you going for?
I think, I agree that the FA Cup semi-finals are going to be very dull, but I also think they're relatively hard. They look quite tight. It's hard to say either way with Tottenham and United, and there's not a great deal of value in the Chelsea Southampton game. So my favourite one has to be Bayern Munich to win at 1.7, and I happily put that in a double with Barcelona at 1.5. That'll give me plenty of value. I think both of those teams will win pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I have to say my favourites definitely come from the German Cup there. I like Bayern Munich 1.7 and Schalke. Love that price as well, 1.97 on their turf. There we go, guys. Hopefully we get a bit of money here during the week. Obviously, a couple of them play on the weekend as well. If you do want to see a lot of questions about what I'm going to do is when this video is finished, we've got another video to do. I'll put a link down so you can see the individual sort of rundowns for each league, because we've done them for the midweek as well. So you guys can check that out. And we're going to go straight on now to a Champions League and Europa League draw. So stay tuned. I'll say goodbye now, Nigel. I'll see you in a second. Martin as well. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody watching. Let's make some money, and I'll see you soon.
See you later, guys.
See you later.